Welcome to the Two Tunes Podcast.
I think you used that one already.
Yeah, I'm bringing it back because it's our 50th. It's our 50th
Because it's our
episode.
50th.
It's a milestone.
Dude, we did 50.
I know. It's almost a year.
Yes, 2 more episodes.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should do this on air or off air, but do you think we should have like a special episode for 52 for like this is our like a recap?
Nah.
Okay.
Maybe we get to like 100.
100 then a recap? Because this is 100 songs that we've talked about.
Although you've played.
Stop.
There was that one episode when you played 100 songs.
Yeah, this is Sparta, and it's I don't know. The 300. That was the episode title.
Sure.
I need to look at a calendar for a second. So 1, 2. This is the 4. Yeah. So you don't want to do a recap episode. Sorry, kids. We're not going to look back at the year.
No, I thought about it at one point, like when we were in like the 30s and we were like getting close to 50, and I was like, oh yeah, 50's coming up. Like that's kind of a milestone. It's kind of cool. It's a nice round number, whatever. Like thinking that we should do like a group we've done before, like again or something, and then just nah.
So
because we kind of have repeated some. In some
of.
aspect, you've played like 15 Nine Inch Nails songs.
No, they're just all connected to Nine Inch Nails. Like that's what that is.
Yeah.
Is just that Trent Reznor is an amazing human being.
Sure, yeah.
Or something.
But even just like,
I need you to hold on for just a second.
Okay.
All right, this will take like 2 seconds. Second for the people at home.
But even just like, so we did that collaboration episode.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure we played almost everybody separately from that.
You probably.
I played 2 of the 3. I didn't play the third. Like I haven't played Dynamo specifically yet.
Well, I don't think I've played Foo Fighters.
You haven't.
Or any Dave Grohl thing.
Yeah.
And I've not talked about.
Who was the third? Oh, Queens of the Stone Age.
I was going to say
Josh
Caius.
Homme. Caius, yeah, that's the
Caius.
one.
Yeah, I've just talked, and I haven't. Well, no, because we did the live episode.
Yeah.
But anyways, 50. This is episode 50.
Yeah. Thanks for everybody who's listened for all 50, or even if this is your first one.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking it out. Maybe you found us on Instagram at Two Tunes Podcast. Maybe you stumbled across our Discord somehow. I don't know how you would stumble across a Discord, but
I don't know, because I would love to.
I feel like you have to like get the code.
Yeah, you have to be invited.
Yeah.
It's like a rabbit hole with all your friends.
It's a rabbit hole with all your friends. Yeah. Or maybe you found us on Facebook. We keep getting new Facebook things. And
do we?
Whatever. Yeah. Or I don't know. It's weird on the app.
I have no idea what's going on with the Facebook thing.
It'll be like, you reached 9 people this week.
Well, that's just like who sees it.
Yeah.
But all that means is that like they scrolled past it.
Sure. But even like when I go in, like when I switch over to that account,
yeah,
I can't really understand what it's showing me, what it's doing
either.
Because it's like
meta.
It's like on my personal one. It's not like when I use the band one and I have to like log out and log into a different thing. It's just like there.
Gotcha.
It's weird. I don't know.
It's like your second profile.
Because it's like a business page, I think.
It is a business
So
page.
I don't know how that works.
Because we're making money. We're not making any money whatsoever.
So yeah, welcome to
episode 50.
We're doing a covers episode.
I just want to talk over top of you.
Okay.
It's a covers episode. And because you watched that documentary last week.
Yes.
You were.
I'm still, as of recording, I'm still only on part 1. Because we may or may not have recorded 2 episodes in one day.
Yes.
And you're still only after part 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, the funny thing was, so we're doing a tune. I'm doing a Beatles tune, and it's Day Tripper. But I was actually looking for a different version of Day Tripper. And then I saw this one, and I was like, hold on a second. I want to hear this, and I like it. Yeah.
I tried to be as far away as not possible.
Yeah.
Because I could have gone across the room and sang
just screamed it at the top of your lungs.
It was day. Yep.
So yeah, this is a tune. I've always just liked this tune. And then when I was in my second college, I'm pretty sure we did like this Latin version of it, which I still didn't find who did that version that I was looking for originally. I want to say it's like Mongo Santa Maria or something.
Okay.
I'm going to try to look it up right now.
But
anyway, I was looking that up, and then I was like, "Oh, Soulive, cool. Let me check that out."
My favorite Beatles song,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't like. It's like, this is such a great song, but it doesn't make sense to me. Is oh crap, what is it?
Hey, there it is. I found it.
It's the guitar, like while my guitar gently weeps.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I love that song, but I don't think it's like done right by anybody.
Oh.
By anybody. Like,
Not
I don't
even
think
the
the Beatles wrote it right. Like, I think like this is a demo to an amazing song.
Uh-huh.
And then it's like, it's over. Because it's kind of like a lot of the songs, I don't know, like a lot of their later songs,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just like, whatever sticks, man.
Yeah.
Hey, this is cool right now.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't thinking about like, let's like write.
And that's a George song too, right?
I don't know.
Almost certainly it's got to be a George Harrison song.
Well, my guitar.
Oh, it's snowing.
Gently weep. Yes, it has been. It's not snowing.
There's snowflakes falling from the sky.
I mean, they were bigger earlier.
It doesn't matter. They're happening now.
That's a weird sound.
Yeah. I'm going to play off of my phone. This is the version I was trying to find, which is an all instrumental one. But anyway, in the meantime, I found the version by Soulive, which we will listen to. Do you know Soulive at all?
I do not.
So they're a group that I have known about, I guess, for a while, in different contexts. They are, I don't know, I could probably play them for my students with our, like, But Is It Jazz listening thing that I do.
Yeah.
They were on Blue Note for a bit. Like, they have a couple albums on Blue Note. They're an organ trio, but, like, not a totally conventional one. So instead of, like, organ, well, I guess kind of, like, it's usually just organ, drums, and then like something else. And in this case, the something else is guitar. They were started in, I think, like the early 90s, mid-90s, 99, I guess it says. They're soul jazz, jazz funk, jazz fusion, soul music, as described by Wikipedia. But it's two brothers, Alan Evans and Neil Evans. They were organ and drums and stuff, and they played in a bunch of different things, like some jam bands and things, and then they wanted to start this other group, and they did. And so they've been just kind of doing their thing for a while.
Cool.
So I have a couple of their albums, I think. I don't have this one. I did not know that this existed. This is from 2010.
This is kind of the
and it's
theme.
called Rubber Soul Live, which
Yeah.
is that's a smart album title.
So the band is called
Soulive, Soulive.
So the L is the same.
Elided, I guess, yeah.
And this is the whole. Well, I guess it's not the whole album. Is it the whole? Is it
Rubber Soul?
Is it?
It's not all Rubber Soul.
Okay.
It's other stuff too. I think
Yeah.
it's mostly Rubber Soul.
But it's all Beatles songs.
It is all Beatles songs. Yep.
Okay. So I was thinking one thing, and I'm like, wait, but this is off the White Album, not this. Gently,
Yeah.
The Guitar Gently Whips, which is also on this album. So it would have been the thing, because my artist, it's a cover song of a cover album,
Right.
so she does the entire Blue album, and yours does just a bunch of Beatles songs.
Yeah. I think a lot from Rubber Soul. I'd have to like pull up the track listings and
Yeah.
compare, but certainly a handful from there. But I think they're just like, let's do a bunch of Beatles songs, and then
Okay.
oh, this is clever.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Cool.
And at this point, you're just like, is it a direct
Sounds
copy?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. Okay. That dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
It sounds like the build up to a Rage Against the Machine song.
Okay.
Like bow down down bow down 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 down.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyways. And then it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's not.
This is such a good tune too, because like it fits in so many contexts. Like
Yeah.
that Latin version, it totally fits in that. And I think it's just that ostinato bass line that helps.
I love that.
And it, yeah, and it fits in this organ trio. Like it works pretty much everywhere.
No.
Yeah, No,
It's just
wait,
somebody
he'll
just
get there.
hits. I want to mash up these songs now.
That'd be cool.
Day Tripper with what is it? I don't even know what the song is like.
So, Soulive, like I said, they kind of have this like foot in a couple different worlds of like the jam world, the jazz world, just the kind of like soul, R&B, pop and stuff. But they did this thing called Bowl Live for a number of years, which was at the Brooklyn Bowl, which is just like a festival type thing that they would do. Mm-hmm. And so they've performed with like a bunch of different people in that time, like members of like Run DMC and like The Roots and Robert Randolph and John Schofield and Marco Benevento, who I really like, his keyboard player, and different people. So it's kind of cool just how they kind of can fit in and out, because basically they're a rhythm section, and so they can perform with like horn players and singers and other instrumentalists and stuff. So it's cool. B3 organ is also one of those things that I'm always impressed by, the way the different sounds and stuff you can get out of it.
Oh yeah,
and different like ways that people play around with it and different things like.
It's a head bopper.
Yeah.
Or a goosenecker.
Yeah. But it's just cool because like you can just keep jamming over this. You could take a bunch of solos. It's just out. Yeah, it's just a great tune for that.
It's got its riff.
Yeah.
It's got its main section of what it can be, and it has the way of being able to. It could be like a new jazz standard type thing, where like, you know, it's like, okay, here's the head, here's the solo section, and then here's you go out the same way. So yeah, you could do that because it's not really, it's not a hard chord progression, or it's not like, it's the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like that main bass guitar ostinato thing, and then it's like for the chorus that more hard driving. But yeah, it's pretty basic. Yeah, but it's cool. And like I said, I would recommend people check out that Mongo Santa Maria version as well. He's known for a couple different tunes. Afro Blue is probably like his most famous one, but he did like a bunch of different covers of things, and that's kind of like, ooh, Latin jazz is a thing and whatever, like the 60s and 70s. So yeah, that's it. I don't have time more to say about it.
Done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Soulive's kind of cool. Now I kind of want to go back. I want to listen to this whole album.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to go back and listen to some more Soulive because I haven't really checked them out in a minute.
Speaking of, so is the album necessary for this? I don't think that's the right question.
I don't understand your question. So,
like, I mean, it does clearly work on its own, this song, and this version of the song, where I'm kind of leading into my stuff.
Okay.
So my song is "Say It Ain't So," the cover version, which I don't have the originals pulled up.
Oh, that's okay.
So, as I normally do.
I think they're both pretty famous enough songs that we don't necessarily need to. You're right, though. You usually do.
Yeah. So mine Say It Ain't So, originally by Weezer. This version is done by Jenn Champion. I think that this is not a great song on its own. If like you're a Weezer fan and you listen to this by itself, you'll be like, yeah, okay. Yeah. But this is off of the cover album, the Blue album. So she covers the entire album. And I think that being like, I'm a Weezer fan. Let me see this whole version of that album done differently. Yeah. And you get into it, and at first you're just like, okay. And then you start to live in that world, and you're like, these are really good. Like, they change quite a bit, and some things are like missing. But I think if you came across this on its own, and then you went to the Blue album, you could appreciate this as its own thing, and then you could like. So for like our younger listeners who don't know the Blue album by Weezer, they could go over, like, listen to this and be like, oh, this is really cool because this reminds me of this thing, or like, I really like this. And then go over there and be like, oh, this is a completely different thing. Same songs. Because I think there's parts of this album and all the songs on it that, like, it's those songs, but it's not those songs. Like, they're really different. Like the chord, like there's like, oh, I can kind of hear the guitar part. Now, like, I know the Blue album. Yeah. Like I can just, when you know something so well that like you can hear it in your head without even like just being, or
like when you hear a song, you hear track 4 on its own and it ends, and then you're expecting to hear track 5. Like, you know what track 5 starts like, but it's
100%.
Yeah.
So in my recording and sound, we're recording cover songs right now. And one of the songs is Creep by Radiohead. And then when it ends, like, I'm like, I know what the next song is. Yeah. Which is like, Everyone Can Play Guitar. I really hope that I'm right. But like, I know the guitar. It's like, if it's not the song called Everyone Can Play Guitar, it at least like starts off with a guitar part that goes ding 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 ding. Now we're all on our phones.
What's that song? It sounds like a different song. Coming through, so get ready.
I don't know.
Ready, it sounds like that song.
Oh, it's How Do You. Ooh. I'm wrong.
Fake fan.
I am a fake fan.
Fake fan.
I mean, real fans don't even like Pablo Honey. Yeah, well, we'll do the same thing that Brandon did. Now it's demonetized in all countries. And it goes, ding, 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 ding. Don't skip. Right. Yeah. And then another guitar comes in, and then another guitar comes in, because they've got 3 guitar players, and the bass comes in, and the drums come in. Anyways, so this album, I know very well. Say It Ain't So, the Blue album. I mean, the Blue album. This song is Say It Ain't So, which I'm going to downplay it. Like, I don't think that this is a really good version of the song, but I think if you live in the world of that album, they do some really interesting things. Because when I was listening to the whole thing, front to back, I'm like, yeah. But then when I was like, I want to pick one song from it, then I'm like, they're not like great. But it's a great album. Yeah. With not great singles.
That's fair. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's kind of like an album that just kind of flows. Yeah. From beginning to end, and you're just like, can you take this one song out and listen to it by itself? No. Like, so concept records, concept records. Yeah. So here is.
But you might as well pick a hit.
Yeah. I was leaning towards something that wasn't a hit at first. Like, this is a really good song that, like, maybe people don't know. But I'm like, well, let's just choose my favorite Weezer song. So, welcome to the 1980s.
Oh, it's really trippy in headphones.
It is. And also, you're just like, wait, this is Say It Ain't So? And you're like, oh, okay.
Oh, that was your phone.
Yeah, that
in the background I heard the thing. I was like, oh, that sounds like the iPhone sound. I almost wish this was like mashed up with something else.
Okay.
Like, I just don't need 3.5 minutes of Say It Ain't So like this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. This is very like structured. Of like the choruses are all like the same.
Yeah.
And the verses are all like kind of the same.
But it'd be
There's
kind of
not
cool
really
if it was this style, but then all of a sudden it was like something else also. I think that would be better for me personally.
Yeah. I really do think you have to listen to the whole album.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm intrigued enough to listen to the whole album though.
Why are you gonna be so negative?
I'm not. I dig the idea and whatever. Like I appreciate it, but this style isn't my thing in general anyway.
1980s.
Yeah, like this
Synthy.
synth pop stuff. Do you know the band Joy Electric?
No.
They're a tooth and nail band from like 90s, early 2000s, like synth poppy kind of thing. And I can only take like one or two songs at a time.
I got you.
So try and be cool. When I say this way is a water slide away from me that takes you.
So is this like her aesthetic all the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of
This is
figured.
what. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, because the whole album is this like.
Yeah. You would assume that you would just cover it in your style and not.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I knew the name, but like I don't think I know any of her music.
I didn't. I think I found this in a Discord.
You stumbled upon one, go down the rabbit hole with all your friends.
Yes.
Dear Daddy,
The bridge.
I write you in spite of years of silence. You've cleaned up, found Jesus. Things are good.
Apparently I have one saved song by her.
Oh, do. What song is it?
It's called Never Giving In,
Okay.
but the group is apparently a single writer, so it might not actually like really be her.
The sun is drowning
Gotcha.
in the
Oh no, the album is single writer. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah.
And then they kind of take away the guitar solo.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Say it ain't so. Oh, you're drunk.
I almost like this end part more as it kind of gets.
Yeah.
I don't know what the word is I'm looking for.
Say it
Just more.
A little bit more.
Yeah.
Not a lot more. It's definitely like electronic feeling. But I think that take that as a piece, a very small piece of a very larger role.
Yeah.
Because I think that you need to live in the world of this version of the Blue Album,
Yeah.
which I think like the Blue Album is a great album, great album. Some of the things like you can kind of be like, oh, I kind of like what they did there with that version of it. But yeah, live in the world.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. Like I said, it's not my style to begin with. So
Why you
then
got to be so negative?
I'm literally not being negative. I'm just saying
Why
it's
do
not
you
my style to
hate
begin
things?
with. And then to have almost it would feel effortful, I guess, to have to go listen to a whole album of it.
Okay.
But I appreciate it. Good job, Jenn. Like I don't know. Maybe someday.
Good job trying to convince me, but guess what? You lost again.
I'm also not like I like Weezer, but I don't know that I'm not like a huge Weezer fan. Like if she was doing like
How old were you in 1994?
11.
You're right around the right age, though.
I know.
But you're probably a little bit, just a smidge too young.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like if this
Because
was,
I was the right age.
if she was doing like an MXPX or a Fall Out Boy or something else that I caught on with like in my late teens. Although MXPX I was into when I was like about 11 or 12, but they just hit more for me.
So do you think that
So what I'm saying is if she covered like
your favorite
Teenage
album?
Politics or something, not even my favorite album, but just like an album I really like, in this, I might be like, okay, you've hooked me enough just with the concept of that. So to me, for you
Okay.
to say, hey, somebody covered the whole Blue album,
Yeah.
I'm like,
You're
cool.
like, okay.
Even like, so Taking Back Sunday just did, what did they do? My Name is Jonas.
Yes.
Isn't that what they did?
They did some Weezer songs.
They just did
I
a
think
Weezer song from Blue album.
it wasn't
but
good.
It's not, because it's just a straightforward cover
Yeah.
that Adam Lazzara happens to be singing instead of Rivers Cuomo.
It's the same kind of things that Weezer does as cover songs.
Exactly.
Weezer cover songs are horrible
'Cause they're
And
just the-
because
it's just-
because they're the song with Rivers singing.
Yeah, it's basically, you might as well just do karaoke with Rivers, or in this case, karaoke with. So like this, I appreciate more, and to an extent like better, because
It's
she's
completely
doing
different.
her thing
Yeah.
of their thing, as opposed to
Where there's a lot of things in this record that aren't like I'm like you missed it there because but it's your version of it because there's a section where like the chorus kind of overlaps the verse a little bit,
Okay,
right? Like the
phrase elision.
yes
Yes.
and she just doesn't do that. She's like, no, I'll come around to it, which I'm like, okay, I don't really like that because like it's this, but it's like that's me being like, well, the first version is the best version, right?
Yeah.
Like it's this or nothing. It's like no, I want a different version of this thing.
Yeah.
Because there's another.
It goes back
band-
to what we've talked about from like I think the first covers episode.
Yeah.
Like what makes a good cover to you, and it's like when somebody puts their spin on the thing,
Yeah.
whatever that means. You know, whether it's just we're a punk band and we're doing this song in a punk rock style. That can be enough, you know what I mean? Like Me First, the Gimme Gimmes, or she's an electronic kind of synthy artist thing, so I'm going to do this thing and that stuff. Cool, you know?
I wonder what she actually describes herself as,
Yeah.
or at least maybe what.
Well, I'm interested now to hear like that one song that I have saved by her. Like, is it much different than this?
Is the song that I like. Oh, going
It
back,
also may just be one of those things where somebody
it's called
recommended it,
dance.
and I just
She's in
saved
the dance category.
it. Okay,
Like, what kind of dance are you
Sure.
doing?
interpretive.
Interpretive. And oh my god, it's so great. Yeah.
Wait, I'm just gonna play this song a second here. and
Single
just
Rider?
see. No, it's called Never Giving In. It's from Single Rider.
Never giving in again.
Okay, so it's got like a
Motion heap
Yeah.
kind of thing to it. Yep. No, I dig her stuff, even like her solo stuff, because I was like, ooh, this is really good. I wonder if like I will dig what she does normally.
yeah.
And I did. Yeah.
Cool.
That's it, guys.
Yeah, thanks for listening to 50 episodes. This is it. We're done. No more.
50. I'm mad. I would be so disappointed in myself and in you, really, because you would be the person. You are the George Harrison right
No.
now. It's like, I'm done. Bye, guys. Get Eric Clapton. Get Stoltzfus.
Yeah. Get Kiki in here.
He'll
It's
never.
Mr. Kiki for some of you that are listening.
They're not, they're only halfway to here.
That's true, yeah.
But guess what? When they get here, they'll laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe actually, I listened to a bunch of podcasts on Saturday because I was cold.
Of our podcast, or
Not
just
of
podcasts
ours,
in general?
ours, but of in general, because I was like, I had 33 podcasts to listen to, and now I have 28.
Nice. I one of the podcasts I really like called Do Go On. They do.
Go on.
Yeah. So, the premise of the show in general is that like there's three of them. They're comedians and stuff, but they each like they go and research a topic and then come back and like tell you about the topic. But then they make jokes and they ask questions and different stuff and like you learn stuff. But also it's like a really funny book report basically, or like research project. But they do this thing called like Blocktober in October, which is like their biggest block of things and like the most requested that people want to do and whatever, but it's been like blown out so much that now it takes like 2 months to do. But they also did for their like final one, it was like a 3-hour episode and they're usually like an hour and a half at most. So that took up most of my like listening time. Do you know what I mean? Like usually I have I'm like, oh, this one takes this amount of time, this one takes this amount of time, whatever.
Yeah.
And then that
I
one
know.
was
tell you.
over 3 hours, and I was like, holy cow.
So, a podcast I listen to called Tell 'em Steve Dave. It's basically
What's it called?
Tell 'em Steve Dave.
Tell them,
Tell 'em Steve
like
Dave.
tell them Steve Dave.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Kevin Smith's friends.
Okay.
So like Brian Johnson.
From the Rolling Stones or something. Wasn't Brian Johnson somebody?
I don't know.
That's not correct at all.
So Walt Flanagan, who
From the 1940s.
No, they were both like they are. So Brian Johnson.
Who am I thinking of? Brian Jones.
Sure, Brian Johnson is.
Brian Jones. Brian Jones sound.
What's the other guy's name in Clerks? Not Dante. Randall. He is Randall.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so like Randall is based off of this person, like in real life.
Yeah.
And then
they're making a Clerks 3 apparently.
Yeah, it's already done.
Oh,
it's already filmed.
Cool.
And I think it's done. Like it just needs to be put out. And then Walt Flanagan is the comic book guy from Mallrats.
Okay.
Is Jason Lee.
Oh,
like
okay.
that's him.
Sure.
Like the more you know about these as them as individuals, there's a line that says "Tell him Steve Dave," like from those movies.
Sure.
And that's where they got their podcast name. And then it's got Brian Quinn from Impractical Jokers.
Cool.
Because but it's those three, and like they do special episodes. So like they'll do a Halloween episode, they'll do like a Thanksgiving episode. Well, I guess it's not really. It's like a Christmas episode.
Yeah.
And they've transitioned from just being like an audio podcast to be like a Patreon thing with lots of visuals now. So they have like a Halloween special, but it's like super visual. So they released that, but that's only for patrons. But they still release the audio version of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, but all these are like visual
gags.
So
and
what
stuff
we'll
they
do is we'll do like a commentary. So we'll pause the video and then we'll explain what's going on. So it's like a 2-hour thing, maybe 3-hour thing, just with the original,
Right.
and then they did
pause and explain.
and then they had to pause and explain. So it was almost 4 hours.
Holy cow.
And that's one of the podcasts I listened to over the weekend. And yes, that's from Halloween. That's how far back
Right.
I am.
But that's the thing. So if you block out 2 hours an episode for them,
Yeah.
and now you got to do even more.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Luckily for me, is I had a little bit of a drive for Record Store Day.
We should be going.
The store I go to is down in Ephrata, so like it's like a 40-minute drive. So that like knocked out.
We went to
half
Ephrata. We
the
went.
episode.
We went to Ephrata.
Okay.
And then my wife, she was saying, it's like, yeah, we're going to go to Ephrata, and I'm like, Africa. And then this is on Thanksgiving, so my brother's like, bless the rains down in Ephrata.
Nice.
It's like, she's like, I am saying it right. It's like, yes, we're
Yes,
just
you are.
making fun of you.
We're just being dumb. Yeah.
We're just being assholes.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite record stores. One of my favorite record stores. My favorite local one. The Record Connection. Shout out to them. They have a good selection of lots of things.
Cool. So where can they get a hold of us?
I said already.
Did you? I don't know.
Yeah, at the beginning of the episode, I switched it up for 50.
Yeah, but we should do it at the end. Hey, it'd be great if you guys
Find us
subscribe to
on-
this or like this or tell friends about it.
Yeah.
Engagement in some way.
Yes.
If you're listening on,
Leave a
on
review.
YouTube, which is very odd because this is an audio podcast. Why would you go to YouTube for this? But it's there. You can comment there
Sure.
and leave us a review.
Leave us a review
Whoever
somewhere,
Joe
though.
Zero is.
And like,
I really
just...
I think it's Christian. I don't know though.
Oh, somebody left us a review?
It was years ago.
Oh, okay.
Years
ago.
Years ago. Yeah. Well, it hasn't been 1 year yet.
Nice. But like, leave us 5 stars would be great. And then just make up whatever in the description.
Yeah, 5 stars. The worst podcast.
This is the
ever.
worst podcast ever. 5 stars. As long as we get that 5 stars. That's
All right. Well, we'll see you next week on episode 51.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
In some area.
Now every episode's going to be like, dude, 52? Oh, my God. 40 or 50, 53? Just wait.
Nice.
Yes.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.